It's Starrylock. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a regular, welcome back. We are in the town of Curlew. And you can see from the sign what a curlew looks like. The town is named after this small bird. It was established in 1884. And we are on the north end of town. There's 4 streets heading east and west and 3 heading north and south. The town sort of capped off its highest population in the 1920s when it had 120 people and is currently about 37. So let's see who is in our house. Doctor Who is here, but mentions Dana. So Dana must have been in here before the StreamYard chat is showing. Dana says, I like looking at older stones and the different types. G Keyman 565 is here. Digging with Deej. Sitting in the campground waiting for the dew to dry. Well, it may be a while here before the dew dries. As you can tell, it's a bit foggy. Foggier on my way down than it is now, but north end of town we have a small shelter, partial basketball court. I'm not sure what you'd call this swinging merry-go-round thing. Kind of cool looking though. But I was going over the chat and I lost track here. Dinglehopper showed up. So that's kind of a quiet start to our walk. If you're heading south on Highway 4 from Emmetsburg, you'll see a sign that says it's 11 miles to Mallard. Mallard gained its name the same way this town gained its name. The person in charge of putting the railroad in the area named it after a bird he was fond of hunting that was found in the area. But there's an intersection of 2 county roads. And then if you're coming from Highway 4, you're on a county road that goes about 3 miles down and intersects another county road, and you're in Curlew. As you can see, there are a few deserted houses here, and it looks like a few deserted outlying buildings. But Wayside Way didn't hear. You'd be all interested probably in the farm machinery. I, not knowing anything about farm machinery, thought we were going to talk about it. And we have another building here that has a painted sign on it that says Palo Alto County Shed, which I guess means where they would bring in county equipment to do any work like on the county roads. The chat is incredibly quiet, or it simply isn't updating. I don't know which. and the gnats are thick. We have a building labeled Curlew Center. Coffee friends make the perfect blend. There is the post office. We'll stop by there in a little bit. There is the Northwest Telephone Co-op office, and not so much as an office as a building to do maintenance work and so forth. Plenty of birds. I recognize the mourning doves. I don't know so many of the others. I can hear music playing now, so let's hope it's not so much that YouTube decides to punish the video. That vacant lot right there is listed on Google as being the town hall, but there's nothing there but an empty lot. So I don't know. There used to be a town hall, and still no one says anything. It's kind of a cool, unusual looking stepped roof. Some grain bins. And yes, I'm going to have a hard time filling an hour. So after we are done here, we're going to drive 2 miles to the south and go to the Rush Lake Cemetery. Used to have a name on the building, but time has worn most of it off. Grain feed seed, something company, but I can't make it out. Some more deserted outlying buildings, and another building that once had a sign. The building looks maintained, just the sign seems to be. And that's it, north to south. It says I'm live. And yet the comments aren't updating. Well, when we get down to the post office, I'll flip over to YouTube and see what I see. I once knew people who lived in Curlew. They were former employees of the company I work for. But they had retired by the time I started, and the husband started having health problems, and they moved to Minnesota where their daughter lived. He has since passed away.
What are we checking out, bud?
Just looking around.
Filming our beautiful city.
Yep.
A lot of stuff around. Something you're interested in, or?
Oh, I'm just last couple of Sundays I've been going around to the small towns in the county. I live up in Emmetsburg. And
cool.
I was over in Mallard last weekend. And
Really? Cool. Yeah.
So what is there for businesses here in town?
Beauty shop. That's it. We farm. Community center down there. Of course, that's the telephone office.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, that's about it. I bought all this over here years ago from West Bend Elevator. So everything on this side is mine. We got the beauty shop, post office, and telephone office. That's it. Community center, they get together and have coffee once in a while. That's about all there is. Little towns are all kind of disappearing.
Oh, yeah.
You know. Well, what's your name?
Steve? Sick?
You live in Eberg, huh?
Yep.
Okay. You work up there someplace?
Yeah, I work at Smarts Broadcasting.
Oh, all right. Cool. Cool. Well, nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you, too. Okay, I don't know what was going on earlier. I did a walk of the town, talked to a local, back at the post office, and now let me see, open-minded wanderer. Let me know in the chat if you heard any of what I just did. No, I don't know this guy, so apparently And that was a ferocious little tailless feline. Okay, good. That means things, I just want to get in chat. Ginger cats are sneaky. My channel is all about treasure hunting on the budget and a bit of paranormal since and Mayor Video is here. James Randolph, Pocket Woman, and the chat's gone again. Well, I'll just assume that you are still seeing and hoping. Evil Arch Conservative is in the house. Not sure if that's Starrylock or Starry's Lost and Found. If you were here when I talked with the local fellow who wanted to find out what I was up to, you know that there's the beauty salon and the post office and the telephone shed and the community center, and that's about it. Figured I would show the little, this is the entirety of the post office. They do have office hours here. And there is the selection of P.O. boxes here. And they're using the standard 1967 variety. Most of these are a mix of Complex and Eagle. And they don't have that in Emmetsburg. They apparently rent lockers here. And they have the standard signage and packing material. And go to the car and obviously the West Bend elevator was not doing well enough to keep the elevator here open, so one farmer now owns it all. So DF Digger is here and the Dark Knight Detectorist. It is very humid and very foggy. The next step in our visit to the area will be the Rush Lake Cemetery, which if I had started the video around 7:15, would probably been completely shrouded in mist. And outdoor stuff is here. What does our 1979 atlas have to say about Curlew? The town of Curlew was another station established in 1882 on the Des Moines and Fort Dodge Railroad. It was named Curlew by President Whitehead of the railroad company in honor of the numerous curlew birds found in the neighborhood, and keeping with his policy of naming the towns as an enthusiastic hunter. S.A. Eastman built a hotel near the railway right-of-way, some distance from other towns, and drew trade for some time from the county roundabout before the company put in a station. Mr. Easton was a genteel landlord, and his house did good business. In 1888, Melvin Fisk purchased the hotel from Easton and built a livery and feed barn, and still later, a grain elevator. He soon branched out and sold coal and bought and sold stock. From this beginning, we have our friendly dog wandering around still. I don't know who he belongs to, but because obviously our friendly farmer had that tabby cat. So. And the Bud Fowls are in the house, as well as Karen Cronin. If I am not saying hello to you, I am sorry. I've just been sort of caught up in doing my video. But you seem to all be keeping each other company, which is great. From this beginning, the town grew steadily, and Mr. Fisk has continued, and it holds its own among the towns of Palo Alto County in an educational as well as business way. In 1979, it has a post office, which we visited and is straight ahead here, a grocery store, which doesn't seem to exist anymore, farm service, and a branch of the Ayrshire Co-op, which became part of the West Bend Elevator, which is now all owned by one farmer. So obviously things have changed a bit. The sun is breaking through the clouds, so the rest of the fog will probably burn away. It's supposed to get fairly warm today. We bid Curlew a fond farewell, and we go on the road to go look for the cemetery, which is the resting place of anyone in this area who hasn't made other plans. I know not even all states in the U.S. follow this plan, but Iowa is set up. The state is broken into 99 counties, and in theory, the counties are broken down in size based on population, but that was, a population in the 19th century, so it might be disproportionate now. And then subdivided, each county is subdivided into townships. Township does not mean there's a town in it. It's not named after towns generally, unless it's like the county seat. But we are in Rush Lake Township. And because each town could not afford to have and maintain its own cemetery, and some townships don't even have towns, they had township cemeteries. I am not sure what was going on earlier, that StreamYard was not updating my comments, but fortunately it seems to be doing so now. We're almost at the cemetery and we'll get out again. At least the people in Curlew seemed friendly enough. .717 is here, and Chris Capoon. I didn't see all of you come in because StreamYard was not showing the chat earlier. If I have not mentioned you, I am sorry. And Evil Arch Conservative confirms that they have townships in Indiana as well. I think it's something that is mostly the Midwest and Northeast. I don't know if they do it in other areas. Okay. Cemetery's a little more populated than the town was, but that's fine. This area was settled in the 1880s, so we should find some older graves. There's obviously some newer ones here as well. As I said, the sun is now coming out, but the fog is still here for now. earlier, we would have had all the gravestones shrouded in mist. I would have had to start an hour early, though, so. Looks like a fairly well maintained, and from the looks of the plastic flowers, frequently visited cemetery. There's some older stones over there. We'll get around to that. There's somebody who seems to have a sense of humor. Their name is, I wonder if they pronounce it Apple, Appel, and then they have an apple-shaped gravestone. Keep me, O Lord, as the apple of thine eye. Psalm 17:8. And it says up here, peach of a pear. So drown. I don't think I've ever heard of that surname either. Jerry W. Brown. There's a set of Larson headstones. We have creepy gravestones that just say all of us. I haven't seen any of those around here, so I guess that or room for one more would be definitely creepy. And if one of the locals step up here to ask me what I'm up to or what I'm filming, I guess that'll be creepy too. Two stones all by themselves over there. Some cemeteries are purposely designed as parklands, but much more practical around here. I can't even see anything on there other than May 8th, 1883. So if someone knew what they were doing cleaning gravestones, that would definitely be one to get cleaned. More respectful to just film the very old tombstones? I suppose it would be. Let's not concentrate on stones of people who might have relatives. Concentrate on the older stones, the one at the end of this row, and there's a few over here. Yeah, whoever set this one up definitely gave it plenty of room. I know of several that are a tenth of this size with just about as many gravestones. Prince A. Virgil. I can't read anything else on there. 5 years and 5 months. So I didn't see a year, but it is definitely an older stone. Whoever the child was, he or she did not live to see adulthood. There's an older stone here, and then a newer stone, but this is, I think, a later addition, the Lacey family, because you have Elvin, 1832 to 1885, and Sarah, his wife, 1836 to 1915. And there's broken bits of gravestone laying next to this one. We have a Masonic symbol at the top. March 16th, 1886. March 31st, 1896. And then Nancy, born June 15th, 1840, died April 7th, 1896. So definitely, considering the area only started getting settled in the 1850s, marble probably is not an inexpensive choice anymore, just like any building material. I am Zaxxon is here. Mary S. Carlisle died in 1893, and then I can't make out, it says aged, and then I can't make out the age on there. Time has done its number as well as nature, so. Seem to be several Trog or Trug. This one's for William and Edith from 1882, on his part to 1956. On her part, 1888 to 1954. But we have a Trug stone and all along there, so. They have apparently been in the area for a while. And this true is a Trug, Christina A. Daughter of John and Catherine Trug, born May 18th, 1874, died November 4th, 1903. So she didn't quite reach her 30th birthday. George A. The rest is too faded to see. We have a fallen stone here in the grass. a lichen and moss-covered stone. Harriet A. and Samuel W. She was born 1834 and lived to 1912, and Samuel was 1831 and died a year later. Chaz 73 is here, and LL with Keep Digging Metal Detecting is here. For those who showed up later, earlier in the video, I was up in the town of Curlew, named after a small bird that the railroad head was fond of hunting and was found in the area. AEW Marine Treasure Adventures. Make sure you're checking each other out and supporting each other. This one has been broken at one time but has been repaired. And other than making out vaguely Elizabeth, I can't. It looks like November 27th. Make out much more on that one. Sunlight's making it hard to read the screen. And the bugs seem to be loving my presence. I have set up with books with ivy on it, and then some kind of starburst or flowers. Faded print. And the person buried in here is a Civil War veteran. We have another older stone. I can make out 1854, but I can't make out a name. And fortunately, the birds have also liked this stone for other purposes. Looks like evil arch conservatives that find a grave or a similar website. Vesta Cates, wife of Matt Sheffer, born 1897, died 1915. That can't be right. 1887, maybe. 8 font is different than the first 8. Well, it's more like one of the 9s, but I guess maybe she was only 23. Which would be tragic to start your married life and die at such a young age. But death in childbirth was very common in the 19th century, so Sarah L., daughter of O.B. and S.A. Drown, was born February 20th, 1911, died January 3rd, 1914. So, obviously, it was not uncommon for people to die of diseases that we know. And there's Sarah's brother, who was 3 years older. If he had survived, he looks like he died when he was only 1. And Vera May Fang lived to be 31. Find a Grave is very good and relies heavily on volunteers going out to cemeteries and photographing gravestones. That's why I know where my great-grandfather in Saskatchewan is buried, is because of Find a Grave. And Unlocked is here. There are, on Starry's Lost and Found, a mix of Treasure Fam and Lock Sporting Community, because of the times that YouTube has taken down my Starrylock channel. Starrylock has some Treasure Fam as well to it, though, because before I started up Starry's Lost and Found, I was visiting. That's some interesting line of stone there. Handshake on that one, but I can't make out. 1886. $32 years, 3 months. This is for the family Earl. And this seems to be the main gravestone, and then we have the smaller gravestones corresponding with the family. And I can make out on the very top of each of the stones words like Mother, John, and then there's one that says Father. If they had more on them, they have sunk into the ground. And this is another Civil War veteran. But I think we need someone who knows how to clean gravestones to visit this one to read it. Sleeping Collectibles is here. I don't think I've ever seen him here before. If you have been here before, I'm sorry I don't remember you visiting. If you haven't, I will make you a moderator when I have access to the chat, when YouTube has processed it that much. I know, here I am babbling on in the middle of a graveyard. There's somebody by the name of Peterson. And Pocket Women is not feeling well, so keep her in your thought and prayers. Jeez. The star beside the grave is a mark for a veteran. And it depends on, of course, the age when the person lived as to a veteran of what war. We've had a lot of Civil War veterans. These are World War II veterans. Peter Hartley, born December 7th, 1843, died January 23rd, 1893. So he got to lived to be 50 years old. Here's, I can make out 1894, but I really can't make out. And 1894 seems to be when they died, and it says aged. And I cannot make out the age. Nearly completed our short visit to Rush Lake. There's some more older stones. I have a mourning dove out here. $20 away from 5,000 from Sleeping Collectibles. If you are interested in any sort of comic book or movie related collectibles, it is a great channel, Sleeping Collectibles. Or maybe it's not fashionable to pitch someone's channel in the middle of a cemetery. You can make out Grove on the top of that one, but the details of other than 1907 and 1891. So that'd only lived to be 16. Ellen E. Gross died December 7th, 1893, aged 13 years. And then this is another Gross family tombstone. Says mother across the top and father on the other side of what's been carved to look like a book. Celestia, Henrik, his wife, 1823 to 1913. And Dwight was 1824 to 1901. So they both lived fairly long lives. But unfortunately, their children didn't. They may have other children which are not buried here. Runyon died March 8th, 1898, age 1 month and 8 days. And that grave has a veteran marker on it, but no gravestones. And this is another Civil War veteran. S.C. Woodcock. Died November 5th, 1891, aged 49 years. So that means Mr. Woodcock would have been in his 20s when he served in the U.S. Civil War. I believe that is a meadowlark, if you can hear that one. These stones are definitely covered in moss and lichen, time-worn, and the ground has softened at some point, causing the stones to tilt. We are nearly at the end of our hour, so I am going to bring our visit to an end. We've covered most of the graveyard, but not all of it. And if you want to see pictures of more of the graves, you can head on over to Find a Grave, because they have, I think Evil Large Conservatives said 92% of these are documented. So there's a Civil War marker. Civil War veteran, died January 18th, 1902 at the age of 97. 6 months and 13 days. that's worrying. Hopefully he's just been busy and there's nothing wrong. Nancy Francis, wife of, and I can't make out the name of her husband, 1842 to 1907. And there's a marker off to the side that says mothers. And there is, I suppose I should head down there and show you the gate, as I parked at the entrance that didn't have the gate. Harriet, his wife, 1841 to 1916. The R seems to be missing. So it looks more like Rush Lake Cemetery. Just seems appropriate as I use this as the thumbnail that I should finish off the visit here, showing you that again. Yes, I hope Butcher's Block is okay too. That is the joy of YouTube, making friends from all over the world, but then having the misfortune of not being part of their real life, so you don't know if something's going on. You will not be with me on my trip home, except in thoughts and spirit. I'll give you a parting view of Rush Lake Cemetery, the Rush Lake Township Cemetery. Oh, and well enough maintained. There was no garbage to pick up at all, so it was impressive. 37 people is pretty tiny. I'm thinking of going to the town of Osgood, which might be officially a ghost town by now. Thank you, Rune. All of you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care. And we will see you later.